Okay, faded out on some Fronty there. Never makes no sense. And this is Monkey Mind. This is a show dedicated to brain cancer, of all things, and living in one's moment, the daily practice. And playing on guitar through the show will be Red Priest, playing the music to my song Monkey Mind, the same as the show title. And the monkey mind is a reference to a Buddhist practice or calling the thinker, basically your thought process, a monkey mind, because it always wants to do something. It's always chattering. And yeah, so I think life is about taming or making peace. I don't know what, something, dealing with a monkey is for sure it. So part of the thing that helped me out a lot I had brain cancer, or I got diagnosed with a GBM brain cancer, which is a 4 back in 2005. And they gave me, so this is like the review of what the show is about in my history. So I got diagnosed with brain cancer in 2005 roughly. And they kind of gave me 6 months to live, which is like, wow. And how I first came into getting it, as I'm getting all these headaches, and I was forgetting stuff, like really bad headaches, and I couldn't remember anything really. It was kind of something out of the Twilight Zone. And then eventually I got an MRI, and it showed a large tumor in my right frontal lobe. And that was over at Ashna. And kind of like right after, I guess it was right after Katrina, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, my dates and all that kind of stuff is kind of jumbled, and I also don't put a lot of that's my own doing, just because I kind of practice that, because I'm kind of thinking that time is not really a thing outside of just your exact moment. So I kind of practice that a bunch, and so I don't believe in time. But I came here on time, and because I have clocks I can look at, but it's right here, right now. And that's a beautiful thing to work with it. I thought I had a really kind of negative self-speak prior to getting diagnosed with the brain cancer. And in a way, it was almost a relief to find out I had something actually wrong with me, that I wasn't just kind of losing my mind in that way, just losing it, and had something to also deal with and try and fix and heal. Another thing too is to know, if you're on the cancer thing, one of the things that I like to prescribe to is not fighting cancer. Fighting begets fighting, and you basically want to ask cancer to leave your body. And I give credit to that, helping me on that with Cecilia, my Reiki. Lots of love. And but all that being said too, it's like I do like the alternative stuff, but I definitely did all the gross chemos and brain surgeries and radiation, and it zapped my long hair because it killed the hair follicles or something. So I had all these weird kind of, I guess, permanent bald spots. So I was like, all right, I gotta shave it. And but yeah, I've been kind of digging being a bald person. Kind of cool. But a lot of skin, lots of skin. Yeah, and I hear there's doing a lot more right now in the city. We're getting a bunch of rain. My house, I walked to the radio station. My house is basically like a sailboat, like a Spanish galley or something, because I have all those, what is it, sun sails? Yeah, and I got them like, I don't know, I got like 4 or 5 of them. So the whole house is just like fluttering and whipping around. I mean, it sounds like a sailboat for sure. So knock on wood, it's when I walk back, it's going to be in one piece. And all last night, yeah, I was thinking about this too. all last night I was in bed and I had gone to the beautiful Nolani's disco fundraiser, and that was pretty fun. But I drank too much. I'm totally gonna forget where I was going with this, but I drank too much. I like drinking tequila, and I also like doing mushrooms. That's gonna be my new, I think, healing medicinal medicine for me. I think they call it microdosing. Um, I'll give a shout out to Kara for that one. Thanks for reintroducing me to that. And yeah, what was I talking about? So I get kind of spacey. I mean, that's the side effect. I mean, I was always kind of spacey, but it's kind of extra. Like I lose what I'm talking about a lot, and so sorry about that. But I think is a good thing. Like when I was going through the cancer, they basically said I had six months to live, and then I started really researching it, and I was like, man, they ain't lying. This is bad. So like really kind of, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, just reintroduced me kind of almost to like a thought process of embracing more quality over quantity of life. Like it seems like everybody's so obsessed with just getting more and more like life here, whereas yeah, I think it's more about really embracing your moment and really having gratitude and appreciation for being is a great healthy practice. And yeah, so I did kind of lose where I was going with that one. But yeah, so at the hospital, I guess what I'm talking about, I don't know. But yeah, so I'm real loopy today because I drank like way too much tequila, but tequila is pretty good for me. Now I'm doing better, but I'm still a little extra scatterbrained. But yeah, I was mixing it. I think that's what burned me because it's that I think the grapefruit juice that they had at the place. I didn't look at the label. I was just looking to cut it some, like tequila, a little sweetness in it. But yeah, I think it had high fructose corn syrup in it, and that just man, that will give you a hangover mixed with some alcohol. That is not good, not good at all. But it's so fun, kind of getting high, alternating your reality a little bit, giving you a little mix up. And I think it's been around for our species just for so long. And maybe a big part of our advancement as evolving was kind of getting high, hallucinations and stuff like that. Kind of introduces us to the other side. I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos and stuff, and a lot of it sounds so cool about the I'm not going to say it right. It's like NDT. I haven't done that one, but it's supposed to be like this 5-minute or 15-minute trip that it's just supposed to be just really, really mind-blowing, where you're in an alternate kind of, or you're in this reality, but in another dimension or something, where you're meeting like consistent people. There's like a woman, I think, and maybe but I liked it too because one of the videos referenced to her being a jaguar and showing you stuff. And I think it had a lot to do with death, which I think is kind of a cool thing to explore, kind of when you're healthy, and kind of making peace with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I kind of look at it like with the thing I was talking about with the ego maybe and Eckhart Tolle, if I hadn't mentioned him, that was a big help to me after my recovering from basically the injury from surgery and the cancer. I had some like residual. Mine was all right frontal lobe with my GBM, and so they took out a really large kind of little weird S shaped. And I just recently on the last MRI actually looked at it, and it looked. I didn't remember it looking like that. Show you like a almost like a 3D image on the TV, and then they like scroll through it of your brain. So it's like different layers. So it kind of creates the space, and it was like this strange little organic looking S that I'd always thought was just like a kiwi, but it was not. but maybe it morphed some. I always thought too that because I have unusually good motor skills and cognitive function. I mean, because I was thinking maybe that cancer came on real slow, and I was like moving things around. I was like this one SpongeBob where he was trying to be a high-end restaurateur, and to do that he had to like ditch all of his other stuff. And so in his brain he's like has these little SpongeBob's moving stuff and stashing it. And so I was kind of thinking that's my little SpongeBob was moving all my important stuff away from the tumor. Maybe, I don't know. I'm maybe making that. Most of the stuff when I say like this to my doctor, he's like just shakes his head and smiles at me and said no. Like I thought I gave myself brain cancer because I had brain origin cancer. It did not like metastasize from my body into my brain, which is common for other people, but mine was brain origin. And I think most brain cancers go to what I was diagnosed with for the GBM4, which is like the worst one. It's the most aggressive, and typically it has a 6-month turnaround. So it was pretty spooky going from just having headaches and then going from that MRI, and the guy's like, wow, this is not like, he didn't tell me I had a GBM at that point, but it was like brain cancer. And I'm like, okay, going brain surgery, right? It's crazy. And I remember one part too, because I had really long hair at the time, and I was thinking, okay, they're gonna shave my head. And then when I came to from the operation, they had kept all my hair, and they had just like buzzed it where they made the thing. So I had this like little tuft of hair up front, really long. I was greasy as all because they didn't bathe me at all, and I guess I don't know what. Anyway, then I had like it was like strange. I thought kind of Asian haircut, like where I think the Japanese or something were trying to mimic one of their emperors that I think had male pattern baldness, so he made it like the hip thing to do. Anyway, it was a weird haircut. I remember thinking that, and then I was shocked too that they really use those staples like Frankenstein because it looks just it looks archaic when you see your head, because it's all swollen up. It looked like this real kind of just really kind of open wound. And so yeah, that was a lot of eye openers. And two, when I was in the process of it, I remember when I first went in there, the doctor acted like, I mean, granted, he had kind of saved my life, but and my headaches all went away after that first brain surgery. I was getting these just vicious headaches that I couldn't keep a thought in my head at all, and it like just wiped everything that I had going on out. And it was just such an interesting trip to go through it. I mean, knock on wood, I keep going. On this latest run, because I just changed insurance, all that kind of razzmatazz, and they came back with another diagnosis that I had. Well, the doctor thinks it's now a low grade over my brainstem, which to me sounds kind of suspicious, like, because they're not thinking it's related to the GBM at different locations, and apparently the grades don't do that or something. So it's not acting normal. So it's kind of like winning the lottery twice is what I'm kind of looking at. But again, I might be off on that, and my doctor would shake his head. But anyway, he's looking at it and he's thinking it's that. The problem is they can't biopsy it or drill into they can, but it's really, really extra dangerous to biopsy around your brainstem. So they're opting not to do that. So that's been kind of another little eye opener. But it kind of goes back to what I've been trying to practice since, my first run with it. What is that, like 13, 14 years ago? But, being appreciative. And I don't know if that I've really done that, but I guess you do that in your moment all the time. So I don't know. But I mean, that's the beauty of living in your moment, is because if you mess up like 3 seconds ago, you got a new moment to forgive yourself, love yourself, move on, not judge yourself, and just say, hey, all right, be grateful. So I'm really practicing that on a daily basis. Oh, and I was thinking like last night, like, well, one of the things too that I got from Tully was that if you like getting over depression or anxiety, and I definitely might say I suffer from both, or did at least for sure. And that's about just not being in your moment. Basically, depression is living in your past. Anxiety is living in your future. And you really create your own reality if you really like sit back and start to really think about it. So much is just up to your own, like, head games and where you want to be. And it takes practice. I mean, it's one thing to say it, and so it's one thing to do it. But you can just practice, and it really, I think the key goes down to just not judging yourself hard, and ideally not judging others. But that comes, you got to deal with you first. You got to go look in the mirror and make some peace. But yeah, I told my doc, I was like, man, I think I gave myself brain cancer. He didn't buy that, but he doesn't also believe in like dietary stuff. It doesn't sound like, and I'm kind of big on that. Like I got burned by the high fructose corn syrup, but I'm gonna lose my train of thought, and I might have just lost it. Okay, yeah, I don't know. That one's gone. But I guess I shouldn't say that it's gone. Like I do like doing like real positive speak. And trying to maintain that. At least I don't like saying negative stuff. Oh, but I was going back to the other thing. Yeah, so living in if you're thinking about the future all the time, basically that's going to make you anxious. And it's not here, and you're going to deal with it with what you got. Now you can prep some stuff, but don't try and sweat it too much. But then you got to do the stuff in the moment to prepare for your perceived future. So you're still dealing with them. You're not going to do anything in the future, and you're going to do it right now. And also, like, the past is gone, and so that's really what depression is about. And if you're in your moment and you're really, and a great way to practice it is going back to the monkey mind thing I was telling you about in the Buddhist, is that an easy way to meditate, and because this is about the now, and I thought this was really pretty cool, is that you just ask yourself, am I breathing? And your monkey mind will kind of shut up, and it'll look like, am I breathing? it'll like listen to the breath, and you get like your 2-second meditation. The monkey is quiet. And that's what I was thinking too, like on the afterlife, like when you die, I was kind of thinking like there's like that awareness, that thing that can hear basically your thoughts. That's kind of more your kind of soul, spirit, something like that. And I think that's kind of what that's kind of is life. And so I think that's like that kind of a thing that lasts, that kind of conscious, but it's also doesn't have any of your hobbies, doesn't have a sex life, I don't think. It's so it's kind of okay. It's not really what you would think of as you, is what I'm saying. It's more of a very core essence of you. Or at least that's my kind of spin on it. Yeah, but it really does come back to being in the moment. Like I see a lot of people like suffering, and a great place to practice kind of being in your moment is driving. I took a 12-hour road trip doing chemo. Oh, because now I'm on chemo again for that low grade over my brainstem. I don't know if I mentioned that part. So I do like this oral Timidor, Timidar. I never know. I forget. And I don't really pay a lot of attention to the disease so much. I mean, I do to a certain extent. Like I try and once the doc tells me what to do, I'm really gun ho on doing it. And I don't want to do things that are harmful to me. I just don't think that's very, respectful to the and all that kind of good stuff. But I also I do like to drink, but I'm not supposed to drink on the chemo, and I don't when I'm on it. But I only take it for like 5 days, and then the rest of the month is like I guess, recovery or some stuff. And then you start it all over. And he wants me to do it for like a year, which sounds crazy long. So I'm not so excited. I'm going to try and push it back this next one because I have a date during that time period, and I do not want to be sick. Like what I've noticed with it, when I'm on this Timidar, this new stuff, and I took it years ago, but it was a lower dosage. They've learned a lot about it, and the protocols have changed, and or they seem like they're still doing a lot of the same stuff, but they feel like really increase the dosages and the duration of stuff. But yeah, so I was saying, practicing on driving. Ooh, I pulled that one back. So I drove up to my mom's place in South Carolina, and it was like 12 hours. I just drove it straight, and yeah, I was really, that's a good place to check yourself, like with your ego and, just making kind of peace. Like you can get real judgy on people's driving. Like you're the perfect driver, though I was making a few mistakes, but yeah, I was kind of making pretty good peace with it driving there. And people were doing some pretty wacky stuff, but you got to kind of, I guess they don't mean to, right? They're just trying to think they got to be somewhere, like they're in a big hurry. And yeah, we get real ego, man, these cars yelling at people and honking. But yeah, and then it was like 2 backups, man. It was like some accidents, and oh yeah, I think this trucker got into this. I think he stole the thing, but he got into a gunfight with the cops, and it caused this major backup on I-10. So it was like this huge delay, and I was really just. But I was practicing. I think I may have asked myself, "Am I breathing?" I may have done that 1 or 2 times as I'm like parked, taking these side highways. But I would be so kind of out of it. I mean, I guess I'd adapt, but I'm really dependent on these phones and these navigators. I noticed that with my brain surgery, I don't know how true this is, but I feel like I used to have like that innate kind of compass inside where I always knew kind of where I was going. I mean, I could jury rig getting out of almost any place, like in the woods even and stuff like that. And now I'm just like completely lost, and it's kind of spooky. Yeah, I did a canoe trip. Oh, and I also got kind of an extra dose of impulse behavior or something like that. Right, like I get these tangents, but I guess I always kind of had that. But like I said, everything just kind of upped on my issues with stuff, and yeah, like the impulse thing. Like I was gonna say, I went into this about getting lost. I got a canoe, and I was like I was with a bunch of kayakers, and we went into the what was that? That was the Pearl River wilderness area, and it's like this crazy big swamp. Like one of the swamps out there is like the Honey Island, I think, and just really, really quintessential, like typical what you'd think of as a swamp out of it, like some, Louisiana swamp Cajun movie. I mean, it was serious. Cypress all around, big knees. Yeah, and just everything kind of looks the same. So we're going into it, and then my group, because I'm just really kind of into it. I love the outdoors, and I love just and I don't like going backwards. I have this thing where I need to like make loops, but I don't like backtracking unless I just have to. And so the group I was with, I kept kind of pushing into the swamp because I had my phone with me, so it showed where the car was. So I was trying to like jury rig to get to it, and they all like did a vote, and They all voted. It was like maybe 10 of them, and they all voted to go back. But they were all in kayaks, and I was like the only canoe, so I'm like kind of an oddball anyway. But so then I was like, all right. Then I was like the one person I voted to keep going, and then I just kind of left them, and then they all went back. And about 40, 30, 45 minutes later, I was kind of saying, man, I should have been a little more social and stayed with the group, because I was feeling really kind of very alone, very kind of lost, and like I said, really dependent on that. If that phone was out, I couldn't tell just kind of where the sun was, even where the route was. I mean, I was completely dependent on that. And then I pushed in a little further, because I just kind of bully stuff like that, where I just keep doing it and just kind of getting off on it, and it was just sweating bullets. I think I paddled for like the whole day, but I mean, I was really kind of enjoying it, but I didn't enjoy being kind of a loss. And then, so I'm in this isolated spot. I got nobody around me. Nobody knows really where I'm at. And then suddenly I'm in the water upside down on my canoe, because I was pushing on all these knees to get through it, because it was so thick. It was like forcing your canoe. And a lot of times I'd have to get out in the swamp and then drag it over a log or something like that. But anyway, so I flipped the canoe, and my phone's in the water, all my stuff. I didn't even know I could flip that canoe, because I was even standing on it, or like kind of like a pirogue or a gondola looking thing earlier. But yeah, just jacking on one of the cypress trees with my paddle, I just flipped the whole thing, and it was like a split second. And then, so I'm standing there. I remember coming up out of the water, and my canoe is beside me, and I'm like in chest deep water. And I'm like, man, what? Okay, Rob, you're gonna have to really get yourself together, dude, to get out of here. Or man, you're gonna be spending the night in that bloody swamp. This is gonna be gnarly. And but then I was also thinking too, wow, you need to really soak this in, because this is a moment. You know what I'm saying? It was an adventure for sure. But moral of the story, obviously, I survived, but it took like all day, and took all day. But yeah, but just kind of lost. I don't know if they what all I think I'd researched one time what right frontal lobe did, but I've kind of lost that. But like I said, I think it moves stuff around, and I think your brain is much more, what do you call it, ambidextrous than we typically make it out. Like they do that left brain, right brain thing. I think it's a little bit too cut and dry with that. I think there's a lot more shared space on that. But then again, my doctor would probably just like look at me and go, "No, Rob, that's not how it is." Kind of gives me a friendly, condescending, nope, that's not it. But yeah, so I have not been enjoying this chemo and stuff, and I was kind of, but then it's like, being grateful, like I was saying too. I'm not sure if I'm really thanking the cosmos enough for this extra time, I guess. I don't know. I mean, that's another thing. A lot of people are saying, well, you were saved for a reason. And I never really wrapped my head around that one too much. It was more like, man, I don't know. I couldn't think of one. Like what, the outside of just being like real simple stuff, like just kind of being more present and grateful. Like doing something, I can't imagine anything I mean, what stuff is so important, really? Like I think it's almost more helpful to help people with making peace with their mortality or something like that than it is saving them necessarily. Because it's kind of like, inevitable. And like everybody gets so wrapped up on just trying to live, and you don't really appreciate it. And that's like, even people that pass, it's like, I think I was telling somebody recently, it's like you really kind of keep them with you. But you don't get to be around them, and that is tough. But it's so inevitable, and and I think a beautiful thing too. You know, I don't know. Maybe in other cultures it's not like that. I really don't know. There's more. You would think with like Christianity or something, people would be like wanting to die, right? Like going to heaven. But I don't see a lot of. I haven't seen too many Christians that are rapping on that one. Yeah, and it's also I noticed too with like church stuff is it seems to be too much of doing, you know, proper behavior, you know, things that are just kind of positive and good for others and for yourself. For the goal is to go to heaven because you're doing it. So it should be just because it's the right thing to do, you know. Um, so that's my take on that. But yeah, it is. It's such a trip to have somebody tell you that you're gonna die like in a short. Well, they didn't really say that to me, but they kind of alluded to it. They don't really tell you much of anything, man. They never. I don't even know if they really say you're. I don't think they even say like you're cured of cancer or something like that. It's just like we don't see the tumor, which is kind of, I guess, kind of cool too. Because I think actually cancer is a natural part of your body. It's kind of like kind of maintaining the healthy function, but a healthy, I guess, system. I'm forgetting the term that I'm trying to grab for, but it basically boots out the cancer. So it's like this, you know, fluffing of getting this kind of cancer, and then like kind of like working out. I always make the analogy to it. It's like you get real sore, but then it makes you stronger for it, makes you healthier, but it kind of tears you down a little bit. So I think it's kind of like that kind of process. But maybe I should have said this at the beginning of the show. I am not a medical doctor, and all the stuff I'm just saying, just I'm just saying. But yeah. Okay, I'm gonna read on that note, I'm gonna read a public announcement. 102.3 FM WHIV proudly presents F No, F dash No, also known as Film New Orleans. We are now accepting submissions for the Health and Justice Film Festival, which will occur from May 29th through May 31st at the Broad Theater. Broad Theater, I think, is really a cool space. And then I can walk to it too. That's like across the street, so it's pretty fun. And they got a good little pop up in there too. Yummy food. We aim back to the film thing. We aim to generate discussions and mobilize audiences around health, justice, and through impactful films and moderated panels. Do you have a film to submit? Would you like to get involved? We are looking for sponsors, partners, and volunteers. Submission and event information is available on our website. That's f-no.org. That's F to be, it's not really a dash, it's a hyphen. So that's f-no.org. And I did one. I think I should have edited mine down. I think, you know, a lot of times when you do film, you get those kind of scenes, or you're trying to go for maybe even a length, and so it causes you to maybe put some stuff in that's not as clear cut. But then I kind of like that in films. I like it when they really take like a breather and they just show you some mundane thing, but maybe you've established something with the character, so you can almost just like hang out with the character. And yeah, I like that part. I used to also like too, what I used to, I don't have it now, but I used to have Turner Classic Movies, and they show like those epic films where they're so long, kind of like a freeze frame, I think, for the whole thing. I think they always should have done it where the guy just says something like, "Hey, I'm just gonna sit here for like 10 minutes and take a break or something." Like you kind of write that into the story, so you know the character's just gonna sit there, and maybe or something. I think that would be kind of fun. But yeah, I like doing film or video, I guess. So that's kind of fun. I like doing narrative art. I like story stuff. And I did after my brain cancer, I did the GBM thing. I I had a business and I kind of closed that down, and because I was I don't know if I was doing the best job, and uh, and then I started writing like a kid's book. I mean, it wasn't really a kid's book. I was thinking it was more like a comic book or a graphic novel or a novella, and it was all about this little Indian, a black Indian, you know, like from the Mardi Gras Black Indian tribes of New Orleans. I'm looking at a really cute, or I should say, pretty Indian poster on the wall across from me. So the Indians keeping me company here. But anyway, mine is like the book is called Spy Boy Cheyenne and 96 Crayons. So the kid, he's like 8. His dad's the big chief. So they kind of push him into a big position where he's the spy boy. Hey, it's a story. I can make that up. Typically 8-year-olds aren't rocking in front of a tribe like that. But yeah, so he's like into crayon colors, so he calls everything by the exact crayon color name. Anyway, it's kind of fun. And it just his spin on things. I just like that kind of first person narrative stuff, and it kind of has a Huckleberry Finn kind of vibe to it. And yeah, I think art therapy is so good for just everybody. Just doing something kind of creative, and just for, what is that thing they used to say? I never really liked it, but it was art for art's sake. But yeah, just playing and not judging. That's a good thing. People really judge themselves, and I guess I'm no exception. Really judge themselves harshly while making art or doing creative things. Like I hear that constantly. Like with my kids' book, I went around and got to go to schools and read to little kids and stuff. And you hear a little kid say, "Well, I can't draw." I'm like, "Nah, you can totally draw. You're just not. You don't really want to that bad because you just ain't doing it." It is about accepting your mark, kind of. I think we've all seen pieces that just look very naive or very cryptic, but they're just like incredibly beautiful, powerful pieces. And it doesn't mean that you have to replicate, because it's like it gets into photography. And there are techniques you can do for that. I mean, you can like grid stuff and rock it out, where you can pretty much draw like a photograph. I'm using that tech. Now, some people, of course, can do that almost by sheer talent. But I mean, you don't have to judge yourself like that. It's more about finding because you don't want to have somebody else. Well, maybe you do, but I was gonna say, you don't want to have somebody else's creativity. You want to have yours. And yeah, so I did the kids book after I was really pretty jacked up. I was still kind of working and stuff like that, but I was pretty much working for myself. And I think during that time period too, I may have been having seizures. Part of the thing with the cancer was I would have these, they're called grand malls, and you'd black out, and I'd have no recollection of it. Usually I'd come to sitting somewhere or something, I'd just be sore, just all over my body. Because basically you black out, you fall on the floor, and then you just start shaking like crazy. At least that's what they tell me. But yeah, so I was really practicing that non-judgmental stuff, and it really helped me out a lot. I thought, even with healing up, I noticed when I was tense about or anxious about, and I could feel those seizures coming on. It was the weirdest thing. I would have just this impulse to look over my left shoulder, and and I'd be like, "Oh no, it's coming." So if I was driving, I'd pull over, and if I was at the surf shop, I'd try and that was the business that I had. I would sit down on a chair and just try and get ready for it, so I just didn't hurt myself. And yeah, but they got me on Keppra. So if you're going through anything like that, that's what worked for me. It didn't work for everybody, but that was pretty much was a kicker for me. And my previous doctor said that I was always going to be on Keppra because of the amount of brain tissue that they had removed. And I, over the years, being absent-minded, would forget to take my Keppra. Had a few seizures, but after a certain point, I didn't, and I was still forgetting to take the Keppra. And then I said, this isn't really, I think I'm healed up. And I have not had a seizure for, I don't know what, like 10 years or something. It's been a long time. So I just quit taking it. And then I remember when I went back, because from Ochsner, I went over because I just did not feel comfortable there. And then I'll go to this one too. You really want to feel comfortable with your doctors. I mean, you really do. You don't settle. Get somebody that you have faith in. And I think it also helps to actually kind of like them, unless they're just rock star physicians. I met a few like that where maybe, well, I was just going to think of that one. I had like the head of, and I actually did like him, but everything he said, he was the head of the oncology. I always get all that stuff mixed up, but the oncology at MD Anderson, which is, my dad kind of thinks the guy is just a complete rock star. But he was like this redheaded guy, and I mean, every time I saw him, he gave me the worst news. But I really liked the guy, and I had absolute faith in him. And when he first saw me, he saw that we flew to Houston for a second opinion, because I really thought the oncologist at Ochsner at the time was just gonna take me out. It looked like it was like in the basement or something where they did the radiation or something. It looked like dark. It was weird. And I was like, I ain't going here. And then my dad was awesome. He flew us to MD to Houston to go get a second opinion. And then that doctor saw me and he's like, dude, you got blood clots. We got to check you in immediately. So a real common thing when you have knee surgery and when you have brain surgery, it kicks up a lot of clots. So if you do either of those, that's something to really have on your radar. When you're blowing clots, like I could have, I guess, stroked out or something, but I don't know. But it felt like I had broken ribs. And I was in just excruciating pain from that. And I remember walking down, I was trying to, because it was Christmas or something, I was trying to shop. I had some guy, I went into that Walgreens down there where some of those shops are by that grocery store. And I remember going in and getting those heating pads. And I was so weak I couldn't do it. And so I got some just stranger. I was like, hey man, will you put this on my back? Because I swore I thought they had broken my ribs, because I'd seen some surgeries before where people are kind of hard on, like moving a person when they're unconscious. But yeah, no, so it turned out it was broken ribs. That'd be pretty brutal, right? For your surgery. But anyway, yeah, it turned out it was just like I was just passing clots. And so that redheaded doctor I saw, he just put me right in, checked me right into MD Anderson. I was like, all right, this is where I'm gonna go. I was impressed by that. But it was kind of obvious. Ochsner should have caught it, but Ochsner was hurting from Katrina. There was a lot. That place the city was still trying to, kind of inch its way back to normalcy. And yeah. All right, I'm gonna read one more of these. Did you know that 102.3 FM WHIV LP New Orleans has been broadcasting for the past 5 years? We are able to honor independent community voices with your support, like mine. From now until, I'm not wearing it now, but I rocked mine last night. I finally got the tank top, and I wore a leopard skin fur coat, faux fur, of course. So I told everybody at the disco party that it was a real. Nobody bought it. And what I really wanted was a Jaguar, but I can't find a Jaguar coat. So I got a leopard. Anyway, from now until July 6th, WHIV merchandise is 25% off. T-shirts, hoodies, fanny packs, and more make for great gifts, just like the tank top, which is pretty cool. Or treat yourself, which is what I did. simply go to WHIVFM.org and click store. That's WHIVFM.org. Thanks, y'all. We are not a radio station with a mission. We are a mission with a radio station. And it's End All Wars. Huh. Yeah, you're right. I always ponder that last one. War. Oh yeah, we did a show on that show that's gonna follow this one. Listen to us live, and that is a brain injury show, which I'm also a member. What is that, like Hair Club for Men? I'm not only a user, but I'm a member or something like that. So I'm on that radio show. I'm a guest on that one. Part of the crew. Another cool thing I did with what you're listening to now, and what we'll play in a few minutes, is this is the acoustic version of Monkey Mind. And I was trying to do this meditative, like I was saying, I always wrote stories and stuff like that, and drew a lot. And yeah, so I kind of did poetry for a while and kind of like that. And songs, you know, music has always been a huge part of my life, though I don't play an instrument. And I know 3 chords on a really cool guitar. My dad gave me an acoustic guitar, so that's kind of fun. But I haven't really strummed it together. And I'm not sure I really want to play guitar and sing, because that's the other thing. So I just turned 50 this year, and so I wrote a song, and I sang it. It was pretty fun. And so hopefully I'm going to do a lot more of that. I almost like doing it away. Like, I don't know, performing seems a little kind of contrived sometimes. I don't know. Maybe I just need to explore that more, making it more real. But anyway, so that was a fun thing. Kind of goes back to the creativity stuff, and trying new things. You know, exploring and being okay with failing. I think is a really cool thing. I think I've been guilty of that, staying where I was pretty good at a lot of stuff, but to get to like that next level, you got to really kind of accept, you got to extend yourself and kind of crash and burn a few times. But it's easier said than done. But yeah, you can practice it, I guess, like anything else, and be in your moment. But yeah, it was fun last night at the No Lights. Though I did, like I said, I think I was drinking a lot of tequila. But if you drink a good tequila, and I was, because I brought my own, but the mixer, I think, burned me. I think it really did. If you drink a good tequila, you pretty much won't get a hangover. Look it up, check it out on your own. I saw a YouTube show on tequila, which turned me on to Espolòn Reposado. It's got like a Day of the Dead kind of thing on the label. But I guess I've explored I'm drinking other tequilas now. But I tend to keep with that Reposado, though. I think they have a higher grade, like Anho or something like that, which is supposed to be more distilled or something. I don't know. But yeah, but back to shrooms. I think that's a really cool thing to explore one's mental health with that. Yeah, just alternating a little bit. I am really spacing out now. Yeah. But yeah, and gratitude, the appreciation thing. Let's all rock on that. And I'm gonna play this song pretty soon. Since I'm zoning. What else? Did I mention anything? Oh yeah, I found okay, here's one weird thing. It's like I have this GBM, and it's not like it's that uncommon, but it pretty much has taken everybody out. So I joined this, what is it, website forum or something, some group, but it's like the coldest thing you can imagine. It's like a black screen, everybody just like kind of texts on it, and the people are like bailing out of the thing. They're like, hey, would you please unsubscribe me? Because I don't want to be like saturating myself with all this people people dying and stuff, or reading this stuff. And I think that may be part of the reason we're not hearing about a lot of GBM survivors, is because if you make it through this, you're kind of like, well, man, I kind of want to go on and do my thing. I don't really want to wrap myself up, but it's a good thing to let other people know you're out there. Because a lot of people going through it, like I didn't have anybody that I knew that had a GBM at the hospital, and it was a huge hospital, and or that was making it, or that had passed like that mark where they had really good motor skills or cognitive function, and yeah, so it's a good thing. I kind of forgot where I was. Oh, anyway, yeah, online, on this website, I finally got somebody that was actually typing that had a GBM, and I think they weren't as long as I was, but they were like definitely like 5 years out of it or something like that. And it looked like they were on, or they had done just a Avastin, where my chemo that I did was Avastin and CPT-11, but that was like, I don't know, 14 years ago, 13 years ago. That was nasty stuff. And then I did radiation and brain surgeries and stuff like that. I should post that, kind of what my procedures were, if people want to reference that if you're going through it, or a family member is. But yeah, I just say really get into your now, get into your moment, and be grateful for everything. Everything is your story. And sometimes it just takes a few more moments to kind of get an appreciation. It's like, oh, okay, this allowed me for this, or this gave me this opportunity. So, see on this. So this is my monkey mind. Okay, wait, I got. Okay, we might leave it though. That's kind of funny. It's sped up. It was a monkey. Went out, it made a cute sound. Hey, monkey! All right. I got a new phone. I really don't know how to work it, so I'm playing it off that. But I hit currently sold to the highest bidder. Won't you love me? Anyway, yeah, I wrote this song. So this is like a little art healing, just kind of a fun thing too. Put your mind on mine, mind on monkey. Getting a kick out of this. I have no clue how to take it off that. But we ain't one. So this song is about kind of addressing that you're not your thinker. You're more your awareness. But we have that desire kind of to love our monkey, because monkeys are horrible, but they're also kind of fun. So, okay, cool, but your mind on mine, my little monkey. I want you to bite me, monkey. Yeah, you're not mine on mine. You're with me all the time. That's funny. That's funny. Monkey man. That monkey. All right, I'm gonna try and do it normal on the fly here. Yeah, my mom and I in Christmas we got. Okay, this is it. Okay, so a little slower. Okay, a lot slower. And then we also have like a punk version of it too, which is pretty fun.
Yes, sir. You from Louisiana?
Hey, hey.
You been to Louisiana before? All right. We got
Bite me. A suit and fedora. Sits in a bar.
one. No, Lonnie's not coming.
Yeah, she kind of said that last night.
She was prepared not to come.